we had the higher call volume that we had been looking to try to figure out how we could manage. And then the pandemic hit. We were already looking at solutions just because we could see we're having more call volume. We can't keep staffing consistent. How do we, manage this staffing issue and still be able to give that consistent experience? So that's what started us on the road. Then the pandemic hit, and we did pull back initially, but what we saw is volume increased probably for us 30 to 50%. The problem that we had been trying to solve, handle call volume better, handle staffing, manage staffing better. The pandemic escalated that and made that even worse. This AI thing that we have been looking at, even though we are in a pandemic and there is some uncertainty, maybe we need to pull that back in and look at that again. And we did. And obviously we were glad we did that, because we really felt like that it was going to be the answer for the consistency, managing that staff, that, when you just can't get folks hired, but you still need to make sure you have a good experience for the members. So that's what started us on that journey, was, our ongoing problem, and then having the pandemic escalate that. A lot of calls that Nick gets are our routine calls, and that's where he has been able to help us significantly. He's been able to take those balance requests, deposit history, transaction history, is the branch open, all of those routine requests that seem so simple, but that take up an agent's time during the day. Nick can help with that. And what really has been cool about Nick is that he's available, 24/7. And our members love having that access 24/7 for whatever it is they may be doing wherever they're at. We had a member survey where they did do the NPS at the end of last year, and our NPS actually went up. When we implemented Nick, we were able, through attrition, because we didn't want anybody to lose their job, but through attrition, we were able to eliminate four staff members, and we've been able to maintain service levels since then. So we did all of that, I think, toward the end of 2021. That was substantial. We thought about maybe looking at an outsourced contact center, and we started down that road. But as we looked at our members and looked at what we really needed, we thought, well, we don't think that's really going to help us, because at the end of the day, they're employing people, and they probably can't really automate like we needed to. So those calls will probably come back to us. And that was the main concern. You employ a outsourced center, and then the calls still come back to you. And what happens with that? Your members still have not gotten assisted. They haven't got their problem taken care of. They haven't got their answer to their inquiry. So we decided that the outsourced solution was not going to work for us with the call center. And that's where we thought, okay, well, AI is very viable, because we can automate, we can hook into our systems. And we also saw that, we had a very, kind of basic audio response system. We saw the opportunity to enhance that through AI and through interface. So we thought, we can probably get, real bang for our bucks by being able to take care of informational inquiries and then upgrade, some of these transactional inquiries from our more basic smart teller system. It was really a great process. The first thing I'll say is that you guys did a great job in leading the way with a very disciplined and organized implementation process. And of course, since this was new to us, that was really important. It first started with you all looking at the data. You didn't make an assumption about what experiences or what questions were being asked. We didn't have very sophisticated data, but you guys worked with us to understand, well, what types of calls are you getting? What are the top 5 calls, the top 10 calls? I think we probably started out with maybe 15 or so experiences, but you all worked with us with the data that we had, basically tagging phone calls, as to what we needed to work with and what we needed to start with. Then you guys took us through a 2-day workshop, which I thought was so valuable because you asked questions, you learned about our systems, you asked about how our members responded, and you really took time to understand those frequent types of calls, the top calls, and or how the agents would actually resolve the inquiries. Then you guys took all of that and then came back with a functional specification design document. You took everything, you put this all in a document, and that made it so easy for us. You guys did that work, but we had full control on the customization. For when we were working with your team, we drafted several iterations. You guys did all of those revisions, and then when we finally got to a good document that we could all be happy with, then you did all the programming. Then we did our user acceptance testing, which was on a customized number, and we were able to then move into production. It was really, really a great process. It's very organized. We feel like it's great to meet them where they're at. We like to offer as many self-service type of services that will appeal to them. We've got some members that they will never use digital banking, but they love the call, and that's where Nick is so helpful. Believe it or not, we've got some that they use both. We just think that when it comes to service, if you can offer a multitude of self-service options and still have in person if that's what they need. We still have people available, obviously, in the contact center. But I think having the choice of Nick or digital banking, and they can do a lot of things with Nick. But before we implemented Nick, we had a limited feature set of transaction history. And now they can get just as much transaction history through Nick if they want to stay on the phone as they can in digital banking. So we think service is about meeting them where they're at and giving various self-service options that appeal to the members. First of all, it was important to us to have somebody that could really work with our processor without us having to get too involved. And that was the key thing for us with Interface. And then the other key thing was the managed services. A lot of times when you implement a new program like a digital assistant, something that's brand new, you get excited about it, but then you can't really leverage it and improve and enhance it because you're having to do everything yourself. What really spoke to us about Interface was the fact that with the service and maintenance and support, you all kind of led us through that, doing everything. Managed services and support and maintenance, takes care of all of that. You guys, kind of foresee what, is out there that we need to add in experiences. And, we can go about, looking at how we can serve our members. So that was just key for us to make sure that we could continually improve the program and we wouldn't stall in our progress of continually improving our digital assistant care. So the specific teams that were intricately involved in launching NIC, so our contact center, our marketing team, and then our IT folks specifically for our phone technician. And then for some of the integrations that we have with our core system, we had a few IT people involved for that. And then, of course, compliance. As far as having to hire other people or additional people, that is the great thing about Interface. Again, because of the managed service module that it was a part of our implementation, we did not have to hire anybody for a year, and we still haven't hired anyone yet. As we move toward our eventual goal of automation and doing more with AI, we may hire some staff, but I will say that, we haven't had to do that yet. And that was different from some other vendors that we looked at because we would have probably had to hire someone because of not having that managed service aspect, that interface that you all offer. If you have Episys, then you have SIM Exchange. And that is what is used to plug into Interface. So we had used that same platform with the smart teller system that we had. And so simply just had to plug into that. And our people, along with the Interface team, are familiar with that. And that made it real easy. That was really a win, too, because we knew that functionality. We knew what that entailed. That's the same functionality that we use for digital banking. So that really, really made it easy because we had several sets of stakeholders that we had to communicate with a little bit differently. The executive team, everyone has probably, or everyone had some type of digital assistant with other businesses, so they were well familiar. There was not much education that I had to do in that arena, other than to present the advantages and the features of each vendor. Our managers were a little bit more unaware. We had to kind of talk about what AI was, kind of compare some of the AI that they make using in their personal lives, but then talk about how it can help us with consistently managing our staff, being able to have better call volume, and being able to handle all of that. And so that was part of the education we did to bring them on board. This allows us to do is to be able to give more time to our members. And so if Interface, the digital assistant, Nick, takes care of these routine inquiries, then you can spend more time with the members. And agents in the contact center, that's really of value to them. They want to take care of their members. Some of them have had experience with digital assistants, and I think they were confident that we were choosing a good quality digital assistant.